Hello, and welcome to Storm Tracking Today, where we will be tracking the tropics. Taking a look at the Atlantic Basin, there are currently 3 areas of interest. One off of the Mexican coast in the Bay of Campeche, which is 92L. One which is off of the Carolina coast, that is 93L. It has just been named. And then a third one off of the African coast, which has a low chance of development. Looking at the disturbance off of Africa, you can see that the National Hurricane Center is giving it a 20% chance within 5 days for formation. You can't see it, but it actually has a 10% chance of formation within the next 2 days. Turning our eyes to the disturbance off of the North Carolina coast, you can see that the National Hurricane Center dramatically upped the odds from 20% yesterday to 70% today within 2 and 5 days. So that could become a depression or named storm within the next few days. Now looking at the disturbance in the Bay of Campeche, which is 92L, you can see it is in the southern Bay of Campeche currently. The National Hurricane Center upped the odds from 50% yesterday within 5 days to 60% today. It's forecasted to drive south into Mexico because of a blocking ridge and then reemerge into the Gulf of Mexico. And then we'll just have to wait and see over the coming days to see where it goes from there. So here's the satellite imagery from 93L, and as you can see, the rotation on this system is actually dramatically increasing. There is a defined center of circulation off of the North Carolina coast, and I do expect now that the National Hurricane Center within the next 2 to 3 updates could name this a depression. Or even a named storm. Here's the satellite imagery for 92L, and as you can see, just below those high tops in the low levels, there is a center of circulation. It's not very well defined, but it is there. Looking at a wide shot of the Atlantic, you can see off to the right is the disturbance off of Africa. Now here is a shot for sea surface temperatures in the Atlantic. You can see if you look off of the North Carolina coast, there is a little orange stream. That is the Gulf Stream. It is an ocean current that moves warmer water from the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean north. And so that's where our Invest 93L will be moving. So it will have sufficient enough ocean sea surface temperatures to develop. Taking a look farther to the right of the screen, you see 26 to 27 degrees Celsius waters, which translates to about 80 to 81 degree waters, which is sufficient and enough for tropical development. In the Gulf of Mexico, waters are running anywhere from 26 to 29 degrees Celsius, which is sufficient enough for tropical cyclogenesis to occur. We are now looking at the North Atlantic's current vertical wind shear. So if we look off of the coast of North Carolina where 93L is, it is about moderate wind shear. It will continue to be relatively favorable for the next 2 to 3 days. That's its window of opportunity for development, and then once it moves northward and northeastward, it will encounter more wind shear and also the cooler water temperatures. Looking to the right of our screen, where the disturbance off of Africa is, there is relatively no wind shear, and it will continue to be that way for the next several days while it has its chance for development. Looking into the Gulf of Mexico, there is high wind shear, which is currently why 92L is currently getting torn apart. However, over the next several days, that wind shear could lessen, which is why the National Hurricane Center is giving it a 60% chance within 5 days and only a 20% chance within 2 days. Looking into the North Atlantic's current dry area, there is a large area of dry air associated with some Saharan dust blown over from Africa, and that could be a limiting factor in the area of development over by Africa. Looking into the Bay of Campeche with 92L, you can see that there is some free real estate for it, as there is limited dry air in the Gulf. Meanwhile, off of the coast of North Carolina, 93L has some area to work with, as most of the dry air is to the north. However, some of that dry air may become encapsulated in the system later on. Looking at the spaghetti guidance, we only have one graph for spaghetti guidance, and that is for 92L. So, looking at it, there's only one model run which actually takes it back into the Gulf, and that is because the other model runs, for some reason, only go 72 hours out. Here is the intensity guidance from several models depicting the future intensity for 92L. And looking at most of them do take it to tropical storm status, a good handful of them, with one of them actually taking it closer to Category 2, which is unlikely. That is the ship model. I do not believe that would happen. However, I do believe that tropical storm status is attainable. Looking at the GFS model run, this shows relative vorticity or spin in the atmosphere at about 850 millibars, or about 4,000 feet up. And as you can see, like yesterday and the day before, it is showing a messy, lopsided system. This has been consistent and is certainly a possibility. This is the European model showing vorticity like the GFS. It's showing a very similar track and intensity, so this is, again, certainly a possibility. As for 93L, the GFS is showing a depression possibly forming within the next 2 to 3 days. Now here is the GFS on the system off of the coast of Africa. Again, a possible depression forming within the next several days. So I'm now showing my official forecasts for all three systems. So here is my forecast for the disturbance off of Africa. I am expecting a 40 to 50% chance that this system will form into a depression, with a 10 to 20% chance into a named storm. For 93L, before encountering all the prohibiting factors, I do expect a high chance of development, with a 80% chance of developing into a depression and a 40% chance of developing into a tropical storm. As for 92L, I expect a moderate to high 60% chance of developing into a depression and a moderate 40 to 50% chance of developing into a named storm. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like to see more tropical updates like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you won't miss out on future videos. I hope to see you tomorrow on my next update.